Welcome back to Karaoke Builder Studio Tutorials. This is tutorial number 6, the finishing. In our previous 5 tutorials, we have covered the basic importing of the lyrics, the music file, and the syncing. We have covered in the tutorial 2 the fine-tuning, and in tutorial 3 we have refined it even further. In tutorial 4 and 5 we covered the various progress bars, and particularly in tutorial 5 we covered the slideshow creation. Now we're going to put it all together and put in our finishing touches. There are, as I mentioned, 2 ways in which you can insert an introduction CDG and an outro CDG to your karaoke file. Depending on what your preference is, and again how much room you may have within your file, you may prefer to put it in the settings module, where you'll see an intro insertion and an outro insertion. This is where you would put your intro CDG and your outro CDG within your project, and it will create it in a bin file with those right at the very start and at the very end. For this exercise, let's collect the intro, which we created in our first slideshow tutorial. In that tutorial we had not created the outro, so let's just quickly do that, just to recover how to create slideshows, CDGs. We'll click the slides, we will open a project. I have pre-made one here for outro, which is 10 seconds in length, which is the same basic length as the intro. I'm going to cover inserting the image. Let's just insert the image that we want. We have positioned it, resized to fit. With our intro, we had cropped it to this position, but because of the size of the photo, you'll see it does not crop, so we'll have to fit it. And it's a very large size graphic, so if you run into this problem, you will have to recreate your graphics or resize them so that they will fit a smaller area, such as the dancing frog one in our intro. For now though, we will leave it as fit, aligned to the bottom right, and cropped to the bottom right. We'll do the same thing with this graphic in this slide, and with this graphic in this slide. Now you'll notice that I have set times. The viewing time of each one is set. This here is 1 second. This is 0.125 of a second. And your seconds are broken up into 300 points. So I've chosen 0.125 for the first one. The second one will run a full 2 seconds for viewing, and the third one will run a full 2 seconds of viewing time. I have set it left to right for each one. That's your left to right settings. Okay. Now we will optimize it all, and we will save it to as an outro slide. Now we will create it, build it, outro slide, and you can view it. You'll see that the time length is 10.179 seconds, which should be sufficient for our project. You can adjust those times upwards or downwards as you prefer for each slide page if you want to get to the exact 10 seconds. And you could do that in here. Reduce this to 1 and then adjust this a little bit. Say, so let's set this to 175. Okay, optimize all slides. Save it again. Okay, yes, we're going to build it again. Whoops, there we go. And this gives us just about 10 seconds right on the money. If you want to get a little closer to the actual time, then reduce this to, let's see, let's do 105. Some of this takes a little playing around. Okay, that's almost. Save this. Whoop. Okay, build it. There, we have just a little bit shy of 10 seconds, which is fine. Okay. There we have our extra card. Now we can exit out of the slideshow. Now let's insert that outro into our outro in the settings module. Now, what we can do is go into the edit mode, and we know we have an instrumental break, so that we have created a card for. So let's go to that instrumental break position, which is about here. There it is there. And we will add in the instrumental break that we had created earlier. And we'll insert that within the actual project itself. There we go. Now let's save this. Save it as this one here. Let's save it here as with intro and extra. That means that it's the intro and the extra is outside of the actual project. Okay, there we go. Now let's build this. We'll build this using the same name. Well, okay, save this. Now it will play for us. We have just created our bin file. There's your intro card, intro CDG showing, and it will change to the actual project now. Now this black space is due to the fact that our lyrics pardon me, our lyrics don't start till this point in our file, as you can see, which is about 14.76 seconds in. So that's why you're going to see a black screen from the beginning to this point. Let's continue. I did not choose the right audio file. 1 second here. Let's go back and let's choose the one with the vocals. There we are, with vocals. We're going to save this again as with vocals, intro, and extra. Okay, now let's build our bin file again using the right vocals. Okay, I'm pausing this because you can see that your intro CDG showed up in your file, and you had some black space there because of the introduction music before the first lyric page showed. That is one of the disadvantages of using the intro and outro module in the settings, because it will not overlap the actual project music. So if you have sufficient room in your project to insert your intro or outro file CDG, then I suggest you consider doing so. Or you can use, as we showed you with the progress bar in tutorial number 4, creating a progress bar for an intro and an outro. There are so many flexibilities and choices. However, the simplest thing is to do is to, at the start, just use your introduction CDG and your outro CDG within your file, and I'll show you how we insert that after this. After we play this back and see how it all shows up at this present time. I've paused this in the bin player for Karaoke Builder. You can advance it forward or back by 10 seconds or by 60 seconds. So you can do a quick view and edit at the same time. In other words, you can move it back or forth at different positions of the file and just see how everything is working. As of this, I'm going down Louisiana way. Don't let your eyes get misty now. Miss you so long, friends. Never know. Get away. I'm going down Louisiana way. I'm going back as of this very day. Don't worry about me, 'cause I'll be okay. I'm going down Louisiana way. I'm going down Louisiana way. There, this is our instrumental break for 23 seconds. end of your music file and your lyrics file, and then your outro shows up at the very end of it. Okay, so that's one way to do this. Let's go and do it the other way. We are going to delete the intro and outro from the settings module, and we're going to have it inserted within the actual project itself. So go to the intro, right click, select all, right click again, and delete it. Go to the outro, left click, select all, right click, and delete it. Now it's out of that module. Now we will go into the edit mode, and we will position it within the actual file itself. So let's go to the very beginning. We will set it here. I recommend you give it 4 or 5 of these little digits here. You see you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the point that it will be inserted and start to show and play. Now let's add in our intro. Here is our intro CDG. We're going to add it to the file. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's give it 5 before the actual next page lyrics begin to show. We will select the last line, hit our shift button, click it one more time with our left, then we will move the show to the red line. There we go. That should give us enough room. Now we already have our instrumental break inserted into the file. So now what we want to do is insert our outro CDG into, there's our break. We'll go to near the end. Now here we have 4.3 is the position we are at according to this red line, and we have 4.16 seconds remaining, of the total file. So that means there's a difference of 13 seconds, almost 14 seconds to the end of the file. So let's just take it to, we'll take away the 10 seconds that we're going to need for the outro CDG, because that's what we created it as, is a 10-second outro CDG. So we'll just move this red line to, let's see here. My calculator isn't working. Okay. So take it to the 6. 4, 5, 6. There we are. Which gives us the 10 seconds we're going to need, and probably a little bit. Now at this point we will add in the outro CDG that we had just created. We still have a bit of room here, so we can advance it a little further down to the end of the actual project, leaving it about 4 or 5 digits before the actual end. Now we will extend the show of the last line to about, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, giving it sufficient time to clear so it won't garble up the outro or the lyrics. So there we are. We have it positioned to there. Now let's save this. But we're going to save it because we don't have the intro and outro outside of the file. We have it inside, so we're going to save it as this file name here. George Strait with vocals, Down Louisiana Way. So let's save this. Okay, now we will build this bin file with that name. Okay, save it. And let's play it.
I'm going down Louisiana way.
There, now you can see that it's part of the project itself. You want to see that again? Well, there it is by going back a bit. Let's see, it transitions nice and clean. If you have your first page too tight to your intro, it will most likely garble up your first lyrics page. So always give it about that 4 or 5 to be on the safe side. 5 digits between. Let's advance this. Okay, we want to see how our intro works. Our break.
I'm going down Louisiana way. I'm going.
There, that's a nice clean transition going from the break CDG back into the lyrics. Let's advance this a little closer to the end. Here we go.
Going down Louisiana way. I'm going down Louisiana way.
And there you have it. It's all together. Okay. So there, we've got that saved, created. Now, here's the finishing touches. How do we separate the CDG and the music? Well, we go to the tools box here, and we will extract from the bin. And we want to extract the CDG and the WAV file. So let's browse, clicking on bin, to the bin file we want to extract. And that's the one there, with the intro and outro contained within the project itself. So we're going to extract the CDG from that bin file. So clicking CDG, we're going to save the CDG. I prefer to save it within the bin files. So there it is. It's properly named. Okay. I'll save that into the bins folder. And I'm going to save the WAV into the same bins folder for this project. There we go. Now click on the build, and what it does is it extracts the CDG and the WAV separately. And just so that you believe me, we'll go into the bins folder, and there's the CDG and there's the WAV. And with the karaoke players that you have installed, it should play. I have installed Winamp with the CDG plugin, so I'm just going to double click the WAV file and have it open up into Winamp, and you'll see.
I'm going down Louisiana way. I'm going back. I have left a sweetheart, Louisiana way. every day. Don't worry about me, 'cause I'll be okay.
Now, it's showing as somewhat out of sync because with Winamp, when you advance it like I just did, it's going to throw the lyrics and the music out of sync when it plays. So don't get nervous. That was me. That wasn't you or anything wrong with the file. It's just the way that Winamp works. There are other karaoke players that you can advance it within that program and it won't take it out of sync. But anyways, just to show you that you now have your two separated CDG and music wave files. Now some people find that the wave files are far too large in size, which is in this case correct because it's 43.2 megabytes for a wave file. With a audio file converter, you can convert the wave back into a MP3 file. Let's do that. I'm going to use GoldWave for this tutorial. Just about every audio editing program has the conversion features to convert from one file format to another. So I'm going to now save this as, select it as saved MP3, and I'm going to leave it at the 128, and I'm going to save it again to the bins file of our project. Okay. It will not overwrite the WAV file because this is a different sound format. It's going through the conversion process now. What an MP3 audio format is a compressed version of your audio files, and in this case is a compressed version of the WAV file. Okay, we can close this now, and there we have both the MP3, which is, as you can see, considerably smaller. It's 3.92 megabytes versus the 43.2 megabytes. And if you want to save space on a hard drive, it's probably a good idea to save it as an MP3. Now it will play the same as if it was a WAV file in your karaoke players. Okay, there, you can see it. If you want to, you can save them into zip files, and whatever you do, a couple of pointers here. Make sure that both files, the MP3 and the CDG, are named exactly the same, with the exception of the extension, which in this case for here it's .cdg, and in the matching file it's a .mp3. Everything else before the point here has to be exactly the same. Same spelling, same spacing, same naming format. Then you can create that and put them into a zip file and name it exactly the same as the main files inside, with the exception of having the extension. Okay, there you have now a completed karaoke file with the vocals. Now, providing that your files are exactly the same in length and tempo and pitch, then all you need to do is simply swap your vocal file with one that has no vocals. Or in this case, I have just a matching WAV file with backup vocals. Well, let's open this up. We'll open that into, and we have replaced the with vocals we will now save this as with backup. There, I've saved it previously. We'll save this as with backup, which means that everything is exactly the same except for your audio file. So we will now build this as with backup. Okay, save this, yes. And here is the same karaoke file in a bin, but it's without the lead vocals. Okay, as you can hear, the backup vocals are also synchronized, so now you have a synchronized karaoke file of the same song with just backup vocals. Now, if you happen to also have one without any vocals at all, as I have, lucky me, you simply replace that with that audio file, save it as that without any backup or any vocals. Okay, there we go. We'll save this. Now we will build that without any vocals or backup. This is the straight instrumental version. Save the bin file. And it will that was the point where we had backup vocals, but there are no vocals at all in this entire track. Okay, so there we have. We've finished our project, and we've created our with vocals track, our with backup vocals track, and our strict instrumental track. Now we can also do the same thing by going back to the tools, and we can extract the CDG and the wave. For each one, we will select, as an example, with backup. Let's copy this because we'll need this for naming. Copy. Open. Save the CDG back into your bin file and make sure it's properly named. This one is with backup, and this is the CDG file. Save it. Wave file. Back to the bin files. Paste it. This is the wave file with backup vocals. Save it. Then simply click Build this file now, and it's done. You can do the same thing now with the straight instrumental one. Okay. Open, CDG, straight instrumental, save that, save it, wave file, straight instrumental, save it, now we build it, and there, it has extracted all your files. So we have extracted the bin files for all three, with vocals, with backup and straight instrumental. And that concludes this portion of finalizing uh, Karaoke Builder Studio tutorial, finalizing your project. I'll be back again with another tutorial with a few other minor tips and tricks. Okay, I wish you good luck and have fun most of all.